All right, welcome to another episode of the Hustle Reports. Today we're going to talk about how to prospect and not be awkward about it. We'll also have a very special guest, super special. We have Pebbles. She is a radio personality. She's been doing it for 10 years. Started really young and made her way, just broke through in the industry. So really special guest to have her on today. My name's Peter Helms.
And I'm Suki.
All that and more on the Hustle Reports. All right, welcome to the Hustle Reports, guys. Today we're going to be talking about how to not be awkward and do your prospecting. We also have a super special guest today, Pebbles. She's a radio personality. You're going to learn all about her. Really excited to have her. But Suki, what are your thoughts today? What do you got going on?
Well, I'm just here, doing my thing, thinking about like what's coming up for this week.
I know something that's coming up this week.
What?
Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah, and?
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Nice, cool.
What do you got going on? Do you have any prospects for Valentine's Day?
No, that's just such a weird thing to ask. I mean, I usually just go to work.
Is it too personal?
Well, since you brought it up, let's go there.
No, I don't want to be too personal about this, but I was wondering, like, if you didn't have anything going on Valentine's Day, then maybe I could take you on a date.
Oh my God, am I blushing? I feel really shy all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Oh
I just, no, like, listen, I feel like, we're getting to know each other a little bit more, and I know this is a very public way to do it, but...
You don't say.
You don't need to answer now. I just want to throw it out there.
I'm going to need some time to think about this because I'm not about to just throw myself out there.
You're going to keep me guessing, huh?
Well, I got some time to think about it. Anyways, when you do sales, and you should know this better than anyone, sometimes it takes up to 10 times.
Okay, so can I get a date? 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 Can I get a date?
That's not fair. That's not what you do to people in sales anyways. Like, if you're trying to get them to, like, be your client, do you say that to them?
No. Like, seriously, I'm just throwing it out there. If you want to, like, I definitely would love to enjoy a nice date with you on Valentine's Day.
Well, okay, hang on. It depends. Like, where would we?
Miami.
Okay, that's kind of a far stretch. That's a little wild. And
I don't know, maybe something local. Maybe we go to like a restaurant, grab a bite to eat, or something like that.
Like what kind of food?
I like Italian food. I don't know, what do you like?
I like Italian food. In fact, I just made zuppa Toscana.
You did. I remember
Yeah.
I talked about it on our last episode. Guys, if you've never had zuppa Toscana, number one, look it up. It's amazing soup. Mm-hmm. But this girl cooks it. That's kind of why I'm asking.
Yeah,
for
I
a
just
date.
made it one day and then, wait, why? Because I cook soup?
The best way to a guy's heart is through his stomach. That's what they say.
God. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, you cook really well. So
Thank you.
I mean,
Yes.
that's like super big picture stuff. I'm just trying to go on a date. That's all.
Okay.
And then maybe eat something else. I don't know.
Well, I think I will think about that and I will let you know.
Fair enough.
How about that?
Fair enough. So, anyways, I'm actually going to go right... At least she's going to think about it, guys.
Oh, yikes.
So, is it awkward? Is this awkward? I don't know. Try not to be.
Well, you know what? On this other episode, you asked me if I like guys in marketing. So I think the title of this show should be like how to prospect and not be awkward and how to maybe date guys in marketing or be asked out on a date by someone in marketing.
Wait, you started though. I remember. We can play the tape. Go back the first time you said, it's this random question. You're like, do you like Asian women?
That's not a random question. People seriously have asked me that. And it was just like this.
Huh?
I could show you.
Okay. No, I believe you. I believe you. They probably do want to know.
Okay, so in this town, right, like I work here and I live here, so I've gotten to know people over time. And then when I started the show with you, they're like, who is this guy?
Hey, what can I say? People want to know what's going on.
So there's people that are Asian, I guess, or they're just maybe wondering on my behalf if you
Cool.
like Asian women. So I just thought I would ask you. And then the other question, because no one really knows anything about you except for maybe
What?
they want to know if you're single.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm seeing someone right in front of me now who is going to go to Italian food. We're going to Italian food, guys.
I like how you just like made that a whole thing. Although I have already told you that I will think about
All right. I'll take that. At least you're considering it. The proposal is in front of you. Take your time, no rush, but Valentine's Day is soon.
it. Yes, because the word no or maybe is just the jumpstart to negotiations.
For sure. Look, in sales, you have to be okay with hearing the word no. And
Or litigation.
or, li-
Or
or
legal
li-
matters.
Or legal matters. All of that stuff. You have to be okay with hearing the word no. Like rejection is a thing. And if you can't handle it, you probably shouldn't be in business because sales is a big part of business and rejection is a big part of sales.
Definitely got to have thick skin.
For sure. So, without further ado, actually, I'd like to bring on Pebbles and see what Pebbles thinks about all of this. Would it be okay if I brought her on?
Yes, I love Pebbles. I mean, if you guys don't know who she is the most like energetic, happy, vibrant personality, local celebrity. I'm a huge fan, by the way. So I don't know if Pebbles knows this, but I have followed her for many years, and she is just like a person that you really need to know.
Awesome. So let's have her come on. Pebbles, how are you doing out there?
Thank you so much. That was like an amazing introduction. I feel so flattered. Thank you. I'm honored that you guys wanted me to be on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, you live up to it. No, you started, from what I understand, in the radio biz really young. Could you tell us a little bit about how you got started?
Yeah, I started at the young age of like 3 years old. I like really needed attention, so right there it was established. But basically, I went to high school and I realized that I really liked doing like video editing and like audio. So I wanted to take that path. I didn't want to work like a normal 9 to 5. So I ended up going to Eastern Connecticut State University for like a year, and I was like, this just isn't for me. So I took like all of the audio courses that I possibly could. And I was like, honestly, sometimes I was like one of the only kids that like showed up because the classes just weren't well attended at all. So I was like, okay, so this is going to be a career field for me because it doesn't seem like a lot of people are interested. So I thought I was going to be like on tours and like doing audio equipment and stuff like that. But then my need for attention kicked in, and I realized I can't sing or dance or do anything like that. So like, let's follow this sort of weird career, and maybe I can do something with my raspy, weird, high energy voice. So I just I decided to go to Connecticut School of Broadcasting, and then I interned, and that's how I started, because it was just at like a younger age. I feel like I kind of just got into the game pretty early, just due to knowing that I didn't want to go to a traditional college.
Nice. So when you first hit the airwaves, how old were you then?
Oh, I was 21, I think. I was 20
Wow.
at the time. I was like a news reporter for a radio station up in Putnam, Connecticut, WINY. They're an AM station. And so I kind of learned all the ropes there. And then I also was interning down where I'm at right now with Full Power Radio. So they own a whole bunch of different radio stations. So you kind of learn a whole bunch of different stuff. So
That's
yeah,
awesome. That's awesome. So I've listened to some of your shows too, and you don't have this weird raspy voice. You have a perfect voice for radio. So
Thank you. Well, I say that just because when I was like really little, I have no idea. Everyone tells me, like all of the adults in my life now who grew up around me, they're like, you had this weird raspy voice as a little kid. And I guess maybe I've grown into it, but like, I don't meet too many people, I feel like, who have the cadence that I have when I talk, which is, I think that's the weird thing, maybe.
Well, it sounds really great. On air, off the air.
you.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. So have you ever been in business in any aspect? You ever have any side hustles that you have? This is the Hustle Report. So a lot of the folks listening out there, they're aspiring entrepreneurs. Have you ever dabbled in business in any way? I would imagine on radio, you're always running different campaigns, so you're sort of exposed to it. What's that look
Yeah.
like?
Right? I'm lucky in that aspect that, I mean, I feel like I've just kind of taken control of my social media a little bit more, and that's kind of my side hustle in a way that I've been able to get so many different side jobs because of the social media. Like, for example, like voice work and stuff like that. People like they can see my link right there in my bio on Instagram. And then I also promote my own podcast as well. So
Yes, tell us about that. What's that about?
so it's called Peb Talks because like Pebbles. So that's how I go on air on Jammin 1077. But on the podcast, it's like, oh, it's all my own. So I kind of wanted to create something, and make it really personal, like what my life is like off air. So I call it Peb Talks. So it's kind of like a little bit of like self motivation as well, like things I wish I told myself when I was growing up. And just kind of like everyday little quirky things. And I also talk about things like my braids. I don't know if you're obviously probably hearing me, but I don't know if you guys can see. I have
they're gonna
braids in my
see you.
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can see your braids. They look great, by the way.
Thank you.
I've been
So I
listening
talk
to a
about-
few episodes of your show actually, and I like the one a lot where you brought your dad on.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. So I do like these things called tiny interviews where usually I bring on a guest, the person in my life that I'm pretty close with, and I give them 5 minutes only. And I ask them like really weird and bizarre questions. But I had my dad on and I made sure that I was like, you're not restricted to 5 minutes. You're my dad. So
Right.
I'm glad you got a kick out of that.
Yeah, one of my favorites. There was this time where you just were rolling off like a whole bunch of questions and he had to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
And you were actually genuinely surprised with his answers.
Yes.
I can't remember what they are right now because there were just a whole bunch that you were listing. But if you guys haven't seen it, you definitely have to check it out or listen to it.
Oh, I
Thank
know.
you,
I know. Let's do it. Let's try it. Do you have those questions or some of them?
No, but Pebbles might have them. Maybe she could ask you those questions.
I'm down. Do you have the questions, Pebbles?
One of them was like, what is your favorite cartoon?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, and he said like Ren and Stimpy or something,
Yes,
and you're
I
like,
was
Dad,
"Hi,
what?
Stimpy."
I like Bugs Bunny.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you can't hate Bugs Bunny, but
No.
I'm like Ren and Stimpy.
I like Jammin the holograms.
There we go. Gem in the holograms.
Kim or Kanye, I think was one of them.
Oh, Kanye.
Kim.
Kanye all day.
Another one was like call or text.
Text.
Call. Yeah, I'm on the call. People get annoyed at me because I
text.
call people all the time.
Even just like hot or cold. You know what I mean? Like it was just like a rapid fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's always
cool.
fun.
Yeah, it seemed really fun. I really like that part of the show.
Well, I'll have to have you guys on for a tiny interview for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's
That'd
so
be great,
cool.
yeah.
I'd love to.
So tell us more about you. Like, what do people not know about you? I know you're out there on the radio, so they know a lot. But is
Yeah,
there
you're a
anything that
local
people-
celebrity.
Definitely.
Wow, that is a really good question. What do people not know about me? Because I was actually hired, and I remember the meeting. I was only like 21 at the time, and I was going to be a co-host. And they were like, "Are you ready to live your life on air?"
Whoa.
And I was like, "Yes." No, like I'm not holding back nothing. So ever since then, I think everyone knows everything about me for the most part. I mean, like I got married on air. Like I talked about when me and my husband first started dating, when I got my mini pig on air. Like, so I really don't have anything hidden. And I
That's
think that's
cool.
also kind of what makes being a local personality kind of special is because, obviously I get to keep whatever I want private off air, but at the same time, it's like you kind of know everything because you see it all.
Right.
That's right. Absolutely. So a question we love to ask all the time. I don't know if you like to read, but if you were to recommend some books or a book to an aspiring entrepreneur, what would that book be?
I'm really big into like that self-empowerment and encouragement and stuff like that. So that book, You Are a Badass.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of it, but
Yes.
that's the title of it, quite frank. So
I have
I
it
would
for
definitely
sure.
recommend that book because it's a lot of it's self-motivating for sure, and it is encouraging knowing that you are a badass, and you just have to tell yourself that sometimes.
That's right. Yeah, I have this thing where entrepreneurs that I help out, we do a little bit of like mentorship with the program that I have. They call the empowerment part Suki balls. So it's during a time when, people are feeling down and out and they just need to reach deep down inside of them and be like, you know what, I'm going to grow some Suki balls right now and tell people what's up.
Yeah. Love it. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
We actually have some suki balls in the works where there's some special recipe. I don't know what it is yet, but I heard that Suki's gonna cook her famous suki balls.
Yes. There's a few things we're trying to tweak in the recipe, whether they should be more savory or more sweet. You know how there's like teriyaki chicken and it's like a little bit of both, like there's a lot of like meat or body to it, but there's this subtle like sweetness to it.
Well, let me know.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
We're gonna
right?
do a whole taste test thing, and so we'll let you know, and so
Yeah.
you could give us your best opinion.
Perfect.
100%. So, what kind of campaigns do you have going on? What's new for you lately?
Oh, what's new for me? I have a whole bunch more modeling to do, I guess, in the future. That's what I am hoping to do as kind of a continuing side hustle. And then also like keeping up with my own podcast, like mad props to you guys, like always putting an episode out and doing it like consistent. Because for me, it is not. It's a challenge because it's only me. You know what I mean? So like again with the self motivating, like I should probably take my own advice. but, but yeah, no, I'm definitely like looking forward to doing that and just making more money. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, yeah.
100%. Yeah. And I didn't listen to the full episode, but I did catch a part of it. And you seem to be carrying your show pretty good on the podcast. But if there's anything we can do to support you, just let us know. It's not easy. I definitely know what you mean.
It's just you know, right, exactly. I don't know if you guys are in the editing game as well, but like I am always picking myself apart. So it's like, oh, you said 20 times, like can you cut it down to like 10?
I think the best thing you could really do with this stuff is be your authentic self. Like you were sort of talking about before. Have a general guideline about what you want to talk about and get out there for the audience, right? But at the end of the day, not like this scripted, rehearsed thing. Just,
Right.
Go on air with it. Just be who you are. And that's like interesting to people.
Yeah, like even vocally, but then you speak about it on the podcast with visuals, right? So you've really been killing it with the modeling and empowering other women and men also to do the same thing. And that takes a lot of courage and confidence. And
Thank you.
on Pep Talks, it really helps people to like come out of their shell and be confident to just
Yeah, if I can do it, anyone can do it. So
yeah, and especially
love
during
that.
COVID, a lot of people's lives have been impacted negatively.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
Definitely. So, and that's what I mean. Like anyone can create a podcast. I mean, of course you got to build yourself up to the sound quality, to the editing, process, to making sure that you have all the right equipment. Like, but seriously, if you boil it down, hey, someone send me an email. I'll let you know how to get set up. It's a pretty basic thing, but to give yourself that confidence, you know what I mean,
Right.
to go then bigger and better. That's just like any entrepreneur, right? So,
That's it.
Hey, you guys, you heard it here first. Pebbles said if you need help with setting up a podcast,
yes.
you can email her directly.
Definitely, please. Why not?
And you are so easy to be found, right? So on Instagram, if you just click on your in your bio, you have all these links to your website, your other social media, and everything's right there.
Yep, at Pebs 1077. But I wanted to ask you guys a question. Is that cool?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. What would you recommend to your younger self? Because that's kind of what I like to base a lot of my episodes around. And so I was wondering if you were like 16 again, if you were 18 again, if you were 20 again, like what would you give to your younger self?
That's a great question. You want to answer it first?
Yeah,
or-
sure.
Okay.
I'm down. So looking back, what really held me back was the fact that I was listening to everybody else and not myself. So if I could go back in time, I would tell myself, like, basically, fuck what everybody thinks. At the end of the day, you go to sleep and you live in your own head. No one is there. So now I sleep great at night because I've blocked everything out, like total hater blocker, like 100%. That's what goes on in my head. And that's what helps me get through my day, what helps me get through life. And I just wished I had known that earlier and have put it to use.
That's great.
Yeah, same, totally. I can totally relate to that.
Yeah.
So for me, actually, there's a couple things I'd say. Is I dealt with a lot of resentments during my teen years. I was mad at the world. I was mad at everybody. And so I would tell myself, let it go. Life is too short, right? That's one of the things I'd say. The other thing I'd say is practice self-acceptance. Like, just accept yourself, who you are, strengths and weaknesses, because that gives you a starting point to move forward from there.
That's really great advice, Peter.
Yeah.
I'm not 16, but I could definitely use some of that advice right now.
Right, like people don't realize you're the only you, and it sounds like
Yeah.
so corny, but like if you really think about it, like no one can ever be you again.
Right. And if you're mad or angry or like hurt or sad, and you know how it is, you go to sleep. And even if you're like in a room full of other people, you're the only one that's feeling really bad all alone in your head, and no one's going to help you. So you just got to reach deep inside and like pull that out of you.
There's another thing I'd say too, and we can say this on podcasts, which is great. I would actually say nobody gives a fuck,
Yeah.
right? Because I really thought people, like I was just so full of myself.
What are people going to think?
Yeah, what are people gonna think? And I also like would at times play this like sob story, like I need help. I can't get over this. I can't do it alone. I need help. And then I'd get mad when people wouldn't be helping me. And so I'd tell my young self, nobody gives a fuck. Just you got to do it at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Things don't get done or whatever. What's that saying? If you want something done right, you can do it yourself.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Knowing when to use that.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
kind of the key.
But you can rely on other people, but that's the heart of it, right? You can
Right.
rely on yourself and you always know you're going to show up at the end of the day.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Great questions,
That is
though.
such a good question. I love that
And
question.
wait, one more.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Shoot.
What's the easiest way to make your first sale?
Open your mouth. Smile. Like really smile, like with your eyes, and be genuine. Look the person in the eye and just pitch it to them. Whatever it is that you're trying to sell.
For sure.
Because if it's a really good product or service, or it doesn't even have to be. When you make a sale, it's an exchange of an idea. And then if there's a value which is backed by a certain dollar amount, that's where the exchange or that transaction of money in exchange for the value comes into play. But in sales, you're basically just selling someone on an idea. So right now, if I was like, hey, I got this like eyeliner at CVS, Pebbles, it's really awesome. You should go there. And it's in like this aisle in this blue bottle. And you're like, what brand? I'm like, I don't even know, but like it's blue and this is what it looks like. And this is where you'll find it. You just got sold on an idea with no money being in that transaction.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
and
that's
it was
true.
just sold to you by me like enthusiastically and passionately telling you about the product and you seeing it put to use on my face.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
no,
good.
wow. That's a great way to perceive it.
So
for
we
sure.
sell people on everything and anything every day.
Absolutely. So I've trained many salespeople. I've been practicing sales for many years as well. And I'm thinking about my first sale. And then I'm thinking about maybe like my, I don't know what number, but maybe like 100th sale. And there was this point, and maybe it was the 100th sale, but I had this major breakthrough and it just became so easy for me. Before that, it was so challenging. Like I had to put in a lot of work. It was really awkward, uncomfortable. And there was
Right.
one thing that's changed the game for me is I stopped looking for people to say yes. I started looking for all the people who would tell me no. Because I knew that once I got all of those people out of the way who were telling me no or who weren't interested, that one person that was going to say yes it was just a cakewalk.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah,
Right, because it's a
definitely a
mindset, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then, as you were talking, I decided that I have a question to ask Pebbles, actually. And you don't have to answer this, okay? Like you could just
Oh.
listen to
What's
it.
happening?
Okay, so what's happening? So, did you hear what Peter asked me before you came on the show?
Oh, yes. I was leaning in. I was listening.
Oh, okay. So my question to you is, if you were me, would you go on a date with Peter for Valentine's Day?
She's putting me on the spot. spot.
And you
That
don't
is
have to.
so
You
on
don't
the
have
spot.
to answer it if you don't want to.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, what if I was invited? And then we could both get free dinner, Suki.
Ooh.
And I'm sure Peter is going to have a great time.
I'm
It's a
sure he
win
is,
for
because we
everyone.
won't give him a choice.
Yeah. Hey, as long as I get to get a date with Suki, I'm cool with it.
What are you doing on Valentine's Day?
Well, I'm sorry. I do have my husband. So
He
we're
can come.
probably gonna
Yeah,
be a
bring him
little
Have
bit-
him
along.
join us. We can see how it's done. You guys?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I think we should do a part 2 with you to see like how, you guys are obviously in a relationship, and
Right.
to get tips.
Okay. I mean, hey, listen, I'll see. And maybe he'll even make a guest appearance and we can have him on.
Yes, we
That
could
would
get
be
someone to
cool.
follow us around with it, like a GoPro or whatever, those cameras. Make it a whole thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, really put her on the spot there.
I haven't answered yet. I haven't said yes or no, so I need like a week to think about this.
Okay, I gotta ask you a question too. Now we're gonna go here. So, a few episodes back, and you can go back and check this. She randomly asks me. She says, and I've been thinking about it since. I was like, oh wow.
Randomly.
Yeah, she says, do you like Asian women?
That wasn't random. I've already told you this several times. People have asked me this question.
What do you think?
How many
Pebbles?
times
do you
I
think
have to
that was
explain this?
random?
Well, I also do remember the opening of one of the other podcasts where you were like, do you like guys in marketing?
I did.
Like, who asked that?
Maybe, I don't know, you guys are just having some sort of podcast chemistry that could turn into something else. I'm not sure. I'm not Cupid. I'm not sure. We'll save that for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, like a free dinner, right? With Pebbles and her husband. And bring your pig too. Why not? I haven't met that little guy.
Oh, what's the
he could
pig's
be a
name?
brat. Hamilton.
Hamilton.
We call him Ham.
That's a good
Maybe
one.
that's why he's a brat.
Nice. Well, we really appreciate you coming on today, Pebbles. Like, you are a star, and to get some of your time here has been just very much appreciated.
Thank
so thank you.
No, thank
Yeah.
you guys for having me. Like, support local 100%. I'm behind all of everything that you guys have been doing. I mean, the podcast sounds great. So keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon, and yeah, maybe we can do dinner.
Okay, I'll call you about the 14th.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
So we're getting there.
Getting where?
You said we'll see you on the 14th.
No, I said I'll call her about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just hearing. It's like selective hearing.
I think you have that a little bit in you. Not just on this topic, but sometimes on other things. It could be a really good thing because it makes you go into this hyper-focused, hyper-drive mindset.
Yeah, it's like the
which-
magnetic mind is what I call it. Mm-hmm. It's like once I like link onto an idea, I just like tunnel vision towards it.
Right, which then makes me think back to Pebbles' question of what would you give like advice to your 16-year-old self. So imagine if we all had that tunnel vision when we were younger, or even now, right, as
I
adults.
know.
Then we would just block what everyone else is saying out and just keep on our course to making great things happen, and nothing else would matter.
Seriously. So today's hustle report is all about how to prospect and not be awkward. Some people may not even know what prospecting is, but it's a part of sales. It's a very important part of sales. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what prospecting is, Suki?
You know what? I actually am prepared for this episode.
Okay.
Yep, so I have it right here on the computer, and I'll be more than happy to read you what I came up with.
Let's hear it.
All right, so prospecting is the process of initiating and developing new business, keyword, new business, by searching for potential customers, clients, or buyers for your products or services. And here's the goal. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
The goal is to move these prospects through the sales funnel until they convert to revenue generating customers.
Ooh, got
I
it.
know that last sentence was kind of big, so we could break that down.
Let's do it.
I think you'd be really good at explaining this to people because you have lived and breathed this whole prospecting thing for many, many years.
I remember I was never taught the word in college, and I did a lot of sales initially without prospecting. So when I first heard about it, it was foreign to me, but I really understood it right away because it solved a real problem I was having when I was trying to make sales. And if you're in business, you're trying to make sales. If you're aspiring to be in business, you better get comfortable with having sales conversations for the purpose of creating revenue generating customers, bringing them through some sort of process. What's going to make your life so much easier is if you focus on prospecting. And really what that's all about is gathering information on the people who you need to get your products and services to. And not everybody's a good fit for your product. You got to qualify them. Sometimes people call prospecting qualifying. It's sort of like what you do on a credit card application. They ask you a series of questions, and you may or may not be approved for their product.
Okay, can we rewind a little bit? Like, this is such great content, so I just want to slow it down so we could just kind of understand. So when you say gather, do you mean like stalking people a little bit?
I mean, that's one way to put it, but we call it
Come
prospecting.
on. Let's be honest. You guys were thinking that, right? Because I was when he said gather.
So
right?
it's stalking with a purpose.
Ooh, I like that. Oh, like when someone's trying to hunt someone down for like a date, they're like, gonna stalk you with a purpose.
I guess something like that.
I know where you work. I know where you do your podcast.
Yes, that could be a way of stalking with a purpose. But remember, this is all about bringing them through a sales process so they become revenue generating customers.
Right.
The beautiful thing nowadays about prospecting is that you have this thing called the internet. And the internet has tons of information that you can gather on people.
It makes stalking so much easier.
It's
It's not like the olden times where they'd actually have to go like out to someone's bush behind their house. You know, you could just like look up their name or whatever.
Yep. So social media specifically is a really great place because people are just volunteering all kinds of information about themselves on a daily basis. You can spend literally hours prospecting on social media, but you have to start with your target market first. You have to really take some time and figure out, okay, I have this product and who is going to benefit most from this product? Is it young people? Is it old people? Is it people living in Africa? Is it people living in Australia? Is it people who, whatever it is, right? You need to figure that information out first. So then when you go onto social media to gather information, you already know what you're looking for.
I kind of actually do that now that you're talking about it. Yeah.
Cool. Tell me about it.
Okay, so for the store, right, I sell streetwear and people really like wearing hoodies or t-shirts or whatever, shoes or joggers. So if on someone's social media they've liked a picture I posted or reacted to a story, then I know that they're interested. And then when I go on their profile, if they're wearing clothes that are similar to what I'm selling, then I already know that we have like a similarity or a commonality. So if I'm releasing a product or something, then I'll just hit them up and just let them know, like, hey, you like black hoodies? I have black hoodies.
Absolutely.
And this is how much they cost, and these are the sizes they come in. So if there's, I don't know, someone out there wearing floral pattern dresses and Jesus sandals, well, I don't sell those in my store. I would never tell this person, hey, buy this black hoodie, because they wouldn't be a good fit.
That would be spam. Spam is when you just randomly send sales information to people about your products who probably will never buy, right? If there's at least some interest there. For example, you put out that post with some pictures of the clothing that you have, and you notice that there's engagement there. People are liking, they're commenting. All of them are essentially raising their hand and saying, I am interested in what you have. Now, not everybody that likes a post is a good fit, though. For example, if you go over to their, you notice, okay, Juan Rivera went and he clicked he liked my post, but then I go over on his page and he's dressed in business casual in every single picture. It wouldn't make sense to send him information about streetwear, but then let's say you go to Jill Scott, and Jill Scott raises her hand, she says, yeah, I'm gonna click like on that post, and you go over to hers, and she's got the newest Yeezys, she's got some stuff from Bapes or whatever it is. Now you know she's a good fit. So that's prospecting right there, what I just explained.
That's so true. Yeah, great advice, Peter.
There you go. Now that's business to consumer, B2C.
So what's something else?
B2B, business to business.
Okay.
So let's say you're a web designer, graphic designer, insurance agent, real estate broker. Let's say you're, I don't know, anything that sells from your business to another business. If another business is your target market, it's a whole different approach.
Right. So I could imagine like prospecting in that sense would be a lot different than from like a business selling just products out the door for retail or whatever, right?
Yeah, you want to see what it looks like?
Yeah, I do.
I'll do some prospecting right now.
What do you mean?
I'm going to pick up this magical thing called the phone.
Okay.
Right? And I'm I have like this list here.
Wow, we're going to stalk people?
We're going to stalk people.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I have this list, right? And I've identified all of these businesses by just doing some research online. Like, for example, if you're trying to get plumbers, you just go online and look up plumbers. And you collect all the information, the name of the company, and their phone number first. You could put it in an Excel spreadsheet. I have a system here that I use that I upload it all into. So I'm just going to call this one here in South Carolina, Island Fire Protection.
So you're going to call plumbers right now?
Yeah. Well,
do you have a problem with your pipes?
Well, I am a business trying to sell to another business.
Right, okay.
So this is business to business prospecting. Now, I'm not trying to sell to this company yet.
Okay.
All I've done is identify, contractors such as fire protection companies are a good fit for digital marketing. I provide digital marketing to them.
Okay.
Right? So
Cool.
they're a good fit. Now, the first thing I need to do though, before I even offer anything to them, is I need to identify the right person in that company to talk to. Because Jill, the office manager, can't make a decision about purchasing.
Oh, so this is the part where they have to be qualified.
We have to qualify them. So I'm going to make a call here. I have no clue how this is going to go, but I just want you to get the sense for what this looks like. So I'm going to call this company, and I found a name on Manta.com. Manta.com is a place that gathers information about businesses, and
Okay.
they usually list the business owner's name. That is the person that we want to talk to.
Okay.
So part of prospecting is finding out who the owner of the company or decision maker in that company is.
Because that's the person that will, like, when they pay.
Yeah,
then-
they're the only ones can make the decision. It's not like business to consumer where, look, if you've got money, you can buy a sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just everybody in general. In
Okay.
business, the only person who can make a purchase is either the owner or somebody the owner has designated as having the authority to make that decision.
Well, this is exciting. Like, let's
Yes,
call
let's-
up some people and see if they qualify.
I'm going to try to qualify this guy right now.
All right.
Live on the phone. I don't know.
Fox Jackson Allen speaking.
Hi, may I speak with Ken?
Kim passed away right before Christmas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who?
This is his son-in-law. I'm handling everything for him. What can I help you with, sir?
What was your name?
Alan?
Hey, Alan. My name's Peter Helms. I was just calling because I noticed you were doing some marketing online, and I was wondering if I could show you some ways where we could save you some money.
I'll tell you what. If you want to give me a call back at the end of this month, I'll have more insight on what I can and can't change by then.
Sure,
We're
sure.
we're going through a little bit with it right now, so we can't change anything at this moment.
Look, not a problem, Alan. I really appreciate your time today. Sorry about the loss you told me. And why don't I follow up a little bit later this month? How about, I don't know, the last week of the month? Maybe the...
Yeah, definitely give me a call back. I'll be interested in talking to you. I got to see what I can and can't do, if you know what I mean.
Sounds good. How about the 25th around this time? Would that be a decent time to call you?
Yeah, that'd be fine, sir.
Excellent. All right, I'll give you a call then, Alan. Thank you for your time.
All right.
So there you go, guys. That was prospecting
That was really
101.
cool. I
Yep.
mean, like, okay, so you just found out, like, the owner, right? Or the decision maker, he passed. But then you took the conversation into a positive place.
Positive direction. I found out he said it right there on the call. I took over the company. I'm his son-in-law. So now we know that he's the decision maker. I just prospected him. I first gathered information about contractors in South Carolina by looking on the internet and pulling together a list. I looked on Manta to see who the owner was and got that information. That gave me a foot in the door, a reason to call. And then there we go.
And that, boys and girls, is how you prospect B2B style.
Boom. And it wasn't awkward, right?
No, not at all. I think you did a fine job. I'm actually impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, tonality was good, speed, length of time.
Yeah.
At the end of the call, you even, when he was like, just call me or whatever, you set a date and then you got him to agree and say yes to something.
There we go. And it wasn't pushy. Like, at the end of the day, I was also considerate. You have to be considerate when you talk to these folks. You never know what they have going on in their life. There's a right way and a wrong way to cold call somebody, but cold calling is still effective in prospecting.
Isn't it like the most effective? Or
Highly
one of-
effective.
Highly effective.
Because
Right.
what did it cost me to do that?
Your time.
Like 2 minutes, like literally total gathering the information and all took 5 minutes.
Okay, so if you are in the business of sales or prospecting, how long should you spend doing this every day, going out to get leads and new business?
Well, I'd say that's a really tough question to answer because it depends on so much.
Okay.
What I would say is I like to tell people focus on the revenue, the closest the closest person to becoming a revenue generating customer.
Okay.
That's the first thing. First thing of the day, when you're focusing on getting new business or growing your brand or anything like that, who in your database, right, in your Rolodex, right, if you're kind of doing it old school style, is the closest to becoming a customer. That's the person you need to contact first. And then once you kind of call through all of those people, you then want to circle around to the people you have as customers already. Make sure they're all taken care of because that's super important too.
Oh, maintaining relationships.
Yeah. And then lastly, then you think about, okay, how can I acquire new customers? Let me gather information and prospect. So let's say you split it up in a third. Spend 2 hours looking to acquire new customers by the conversations you've already had in your prospecting. Spend another 2 hours kind of circling around the customers you've already had and seeing if everybody's taken care of. Take a lunch break, come back, and then do some prospecting for another couple hours.
It's pretty cool.
Just like that.
Nice.
So, any other things you want to talk about with prospecting? I see that you did gather some great info.
Yes. So it's about word of mouth and like how can people use that power, that knowledge to really go out and get new leads and new customers. So you just showed us an example of B2B style prospecting, but you had a list that you already pre-generated. So what if you are, a different type of business where you don't have that necessarily? What would you recommend to people?
You have to find out where these people are. Are they online? Are they offline? Where do they gather? This way you can put information in front of them, do something to hook their attention, right? Come up with some sort of gimmick, but it can't just be a gimmick that tricks them. It has to actually be followed up with a real value offering to them, a real benefit.
Okay.
So for example, let's use contractors. Let's use that. Let's say your
Okay.
target market is contractors and you sell, Carhartt jackets. You know that contractors like to buy those.
Oh, this is true. Yep. And we live in New England.
We live in New England. So you don't want to target contractors in Miami, number one.
True.
You want
Okay.
to target them somewhere where it gets cold.
You really have this thing about Miami.
I love Miami. This shirt's from Miami.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
cool.
you can't get it anywhere else. For now.
You know what? Your arm with the tattoos.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the person in the shirt there, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. I thought I was wearing my teamwork shirt. I just said teamwork makes the dream work.
That's okay.
No.
This shirt
Yeah.
says pray.
Yeah, this one says pray.
Yeah, like you're gonna need that after you go on a little outing with me, Pebbles, and her husband, and their little pig.
Oh boy.
No, I didn't say yes to it. I'm just hypothetically saying that if we did
Yeah.
do that,
We're going,
if
guys.
we did.
If. You're warming up to it. You're open to the idea, at least.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Keep thinking. I'm excited. If you say yes, if not, no harm, no foul. We can continue doing this show and everything's gravy.
Absolutely. I love this show.
I do too. You're the best co-host I could ever ask for.
And you give a lot of good practical advice.
Oh, thanks.
So you were just talking about Miami and Carhartt jackets, so I'm sorry. I
No.
apologize. I kind of...
It's all good. So let's say you want to target contractors with Carhartt jackets. You don't want to try to reach out to people in a warm weather area. You want to find out the cold weather areas. So where do they gather? Where do contractors go? Maybe you find some association where they all get together, right? Maybe some kind of
like a
builders
carpenter union.
group, like a carpenters union. So
Yeah.
you would find out where they are. Maybe they're on social media talking, right? Do that. You could also just go in person and just start talking to people. You don't need to go in there selling right away. Just develop some rapport, get some relationships established. And then if they ask you what you do, which is sort of what people ask, it's like, oh, I sell Carhartt jackets. Boom, there you go. You open the door. You've prospected because you know that group is, probably a good fit.
Right?
And you started a relationship, because that's also important too. Part of prospecting is developing that rapport. If you noticed on the call that I had, I actually took a moment and I was genuinely concerned when he said, like, this guy passed away.
Oh, I know. It must be just really awful. And then when he said that he was the son-in-law,
Yeah.
they have a relationship. He wasn't just like a new hire that just put him in place to pick up the phone.
Yep. Now, I identified him as the decision maker, and I could have pushed forward with my full pitch, like right there on the call.
You
Like,
handled
trust
it
me, I
really
could
well.
have. But I'm not going to do that. Like, this is a human being. This is a person.
Right.
Like, it's super aggressive. I don't need to do that. No, you don't need to be super aggressive in sales.
Well, something else I want to say about prospecting. So if someone is already familiar with your business, then they're more likely to buy from you. Like, don't you think so?
They are. People buy from those they know and trust.
Right. So, for example, I don't know, there's like new restaurants that are popping up in this area where they're franchise restaurants where they sell like tacos or whatever. I don't want to like say the names of these restaurants, but you guys know what I'm talking about. You go into the establishment and there's someone standing behind like a glass counter and you pick and choose your ingredients, right? So long before these places came into our city, we've already seen these places on, online, on TV, on the radio, whatever, or even traveling to another state. And so we're familiar with it, whether it's negative news or like, positive reviews. So when these places came into town, I was curious. I was already familiar with the logo and the brand. So they didn't have to do much work to get me in the door and spend $10.
So part of prospecting also is what you're talking about. It's building brand awareness.
Yeah.
Just getting information out there about your company and trying your absolute best to get it in front of the right people is going to be half the battle, because obscurity is your biggest enemy in business. If people don't at least hear about you or at least see something about you, you have an uphill battle to overcome.
That's true. So, and 60% of people rely on word of mouth advertising.
They do. Absolutely. So that's all we got today for prospecting in a non-awkward way. I really look forward to your answer maybe on next podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Man, she's playing hard to get, guys, but I respect it.
Well, as we're sitting here talking about whatever, prospecting and business, throughout the show, I've been thinking about some stipulations.
Okay.
And I'll let you know what they are next show.
We'll have to wait, I guess, guys. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Hustle Reports. We really appreciate you. Big shout out to Hustle Nation. If you want to see all our episodes, a really fast way to find it is just click on the hashtag Hustle Nation anywhere you see it, and all of our episodes will pull up. But you can find us on Facebook at The Hustle Reports, on YouTube, or also, if you want to get the audio experience, go to Spotify, Apple iTunes, Pandora. We're everywhere if you want to check us out. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate you.
And thank you for sharing our podcast with everyone you know.
Share, share, share. The best is yet to come, my friends.
Take care, guys.
Bye.